We are in the path of financial enlightenment, and XRP, XDC, and XLM are the endgame. Folks, let's watch this video out from Cyprus Demand and Core and see how the Great Reset is shaping. A really interesting one, folks. So stay tuned, and then we are going to be looking at the unique selling points of all these great assets, folks, be it XDC network with its MLETR sponsored or under the umbrella of MLETR, how it will reduce the costs of world trade and how good of a utility it can provide. We're going to be looking at XLM, XRP in a moment. So yeah, let's check this out.
Will include connectivity, it will include fintech, it will include blockchain, it will include AI.
We've also gotten confirmation on stage from recent panelists and people from large organizations like Ripple mentioning that the reset button has been pressed.
And the reset button has now been pressed. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, which was the architect of this war on crypto, has said just that. We created a mess, quote unquote. We need to first tell you what the law is before we bring enforcement actions, and they've now dismissed all of the pending enforcement actions, which is a great thing.
This is no longer a conspiracy. It is the forward to your future. And right now, we are living through what they openly call the Great Reset. Economies are being reshaped, supply chains are being rewired, social norms and expectations are being revised. This is no longer a forecast. It is already happening. And while most people are distracted, the architecture of the new world is being designed behind closed doors. And here at CyberX, we are attempting to show you guys that physical proof so that way you have time to wake up and prepare. We have to understand that the world is not going back to normal. Now is the time to pay attention. So we're going to start here with today's video breakdown. And I want to read this document from KPMG. KPMG is one of the top 4, I believe, global consulting firms. And this is titled The Great Reset 2025 Edition, Emerging Trends in Infrastructure and Transport. And here in the very beginning of the document, it says, we are in the midst of a great reset. Protection of national interests are at the top of the agenda. Economies are being reshaped. Alliances and supply chains are being rewired, and the frequency and severity of weather events are increasing, and social expectations and norms are being revised. So they tell you these things word for word. And in this trend number 5, they talk about new asset classes. We know crypto is a new investable asset class.
And so at Hidden Road, we've been pretty consistent with this from the start that we think crypto is the 7th liquid investable asset class. It's encouraging. There's lots of folks now referring to it in the same way. Investors, retail and institutional, all have their money invested in 6 asset classes: equities, credit, rates, commodities, real estate, and cash. And crypto is definitely the 7th. And if that is happening, then its trading and investment mechanics will migrate towards best practices trailblazed by the other asset classes.
That is now, for the first time ever, picking up pace at a very rapid speed. It says here in this document to expect the integration of new asset classes to pick up pace over the coming years. So expect appetite for integrating new technologies into the existing assets to remain high. And so this is a wake-up call directly from one of the largest organizations in this space, telling you guys that this is all happening for a fact. Now, coming over here to another document. In this document, we're going to be listening to an individual expert named Paul Brody from EY. Now, why are we listening to these organizations? If you all don't know who EY is, EY, or formerly known as Ernst & Young, is a multinational professional services network. It is one of the big 4 accounting firms and provides services like assurance, consulting, tax, and strategy transactions. EY helps businesses with various aspects, including financial audits, risk management, and digital transformation. EY is one of the 4 largest professional service networks globally, alongside Deloitte, KPMG, and PwC. So it would behoove us to pay attention to some of the things that these industry leading experts from these firms say to us publicly on stage that go relatively unnoticed. And it says right down here in the bottom of this document titled Blockchain and Crypto, the financial system and these technologies will be central to a financial sector that is efficient, inclusive, and positioned for a future growth in America. And right here, Paul Brody goes on to say that he sees two big opportunities and challenges ahead in 2025. And he believes that one of those will be a resurgence in DeFi, as people will start looking for ways to boost yield and they will turn to DeFi. Now, over here on this panel discussion that was posted 3 days ago from the Global Blockchain Business Council, Paul Brody is sitting on stage where he goes on to confirm this new world that they are in the process of building. Take a second here and listen.
So there is, so first of all, I think your point about like the bear asset is spot on. Like that is a big departure from what we've had in the recent past. And it is a big regulatory advantage, and it's one that's now going to be conferred upon everybody who wants to deploy a stable coin. But there's a couple of other things that are going on from an infrastructure perspective that are worth watching. The first is this entirely new infrastructure that's being built to facilitate a really rapid integration of stable coins. We've seen the announcement today, Shopify is integrating USDC. Stripe is buying Privy, they bought Bridge, right? What's happening is the entire like global commercial infrastructure is building a new payments infrastructure. The first new payments infrastructure, probably since the credit card industry, is being built on top of the existing like crypto rails. So new infrastructure, and there are a ton of companies that are building up all these little niche solutions. Like I have 20 different versions of a US dollar token. How do I make them all interoperable instantaneously, right? Stuff like that is happening.
So I just wanted you guys to hear this directly from an individual with credentials that this is taking place. This is not speculation. They are directly telling this to people's faces. And so many billions of people are not tapped in and paying attention.
Folks, I agree to this, that we are getting out of the hypothetical phase. We are in the grounds of reality. I have come far from the place where we talked about it theoretically, how utility will shape the game, how XLM, XRP, or XDC, they'll be the one driving this new wave of finance forward. But now, folks, writing is on the wall and everything is happening practically, and we're seeing true signs of how a global financial shift is going to be happening. Like, look at this, folks. This is Ryan McBride over here saying that MLETR is reducing costs of world trade by 25%, reducing time spent on paperwork by 80%. Folks, aside from all of this, if we talk about paper, you know that how huge of a deal it is cutting out trees to make paper, and then the effect it has on Earth, on the planet as a whole, climate change and everything. This is just a one dimension of how XDC network can provide us something of value, not just our generation, but the coming generations as well, in terms of finance and in terms of social impact, folks. Reducing 28 million sheets of paperwork each year to zero. And this is only the beginning. What XDC and DLT can do, it might even transcend this. Look at this. XDC is pioneering the utility of every aspect of these new on-chain digital instruments. So this is what we're talking about, folks. The king of trade finance, XDC. It is happening. It is happening for sure. It is real. And then if you talk about Ripple, banks don't need Swift anymore. The future is Ripple. But folks, I might add that the legacy systems, they can also coexist and benefit from the technology of XLM, XRP, and XDC in various way, shape, and form. With ISO 20022 integration, XRP can settle massive transaction instantly. So now you know why Swift is rushing to adopt blockchain tech. They see what is coming, and it is called Ripple National Trust Bank. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Although they might be running on a bit of outdated systems, but it can be a win-win situation for the entire world of finance, including the legacy systems, the traditional systems, folks. Look at this. Jennifer Barker over here, according to All in Crypto, the global head of treasury services at BNY Global. What is BNY Global, folks? Look at this. It is a global financial services company which is overseeing more than $50 trillion in assets, folks, managing it, moving it, keeping it safe, and maintaining it basically. And who is they are working with Ripple on crypto custody, on utilizing crypto and ISO 20022 to innovate banking utilities, being able to move dollars 24/7. Now, this is what we're talking about. It doesn't get any bigger than this, folks. It is one of the biggest use cases out there. The way XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, they're going to be utilizing this new era, these new technologies, these new partnerships. It is unprecedented in history, folks. Look at this. XRP is a different beast entirely. Even debt will increase its value. Documents provided, World Economic Forum. The Solana, Chainlink, and Bitcoin maximalists think XRP is just for cross-border payments. What they fail to realize is that with ODL on the XRPL, which uses XRP for utility, and this is where the utility of the coin comes into place. The network can also tokenize debt itself, folks. Now look at this and imagine debt. It keeps on increasing. So even through debt, XRP's value will rise. So ironic, isn't it, folks? We're talking about scarce assets. All of these assets are scarce. They are limited. They have a cap. Along with that, you're talking about utility of unprecedented potential, of unrealized potential, and only the future can tell what can happen. Look at this. XLM, folks. 50 billion supply. Payments in underbanked, unbanked regions. Folks, some XRP maxis might say that XLM is just a copy paste of XRP, but folks, it goes way beyond that. I've told you time and again that we need, even if it is a copy paste, I'm not saying it is totally 100% because everyone has their own path, their own trajectory, which makes them unique, their own partnerships, their own ways. But even if it is, we need some good projects for this industry to survive. And in the future, we need good collaborations across various sectors as well. There can be multiple winners in this space, folks, and XLM can be one of them. Look at this. Unbanked regions, it is working with the United Nations, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNICEF, UNDP. The UN is the highest body when it comes to global organization and regulation. Obviously, even if we talk about IMF, World Economic Forum, those organizations also are coordinating with the United Nations itself, and XLM is tied with them. If we talk about the refugee question, if we talk about providing us something useful, XLM is trying to do that. If we talk about XDC over here, folks, 37 billion supply, trade finance bridge SMEs, sophisticated smart contracts, RWA tokenization, XRP 100 billion supply, bridge currency, deep liquidity pools, solving Nostro Vostro. So folks, if we talk about BTC, it is a store of value. If we talk about gold, it is a store of value as well. They are scarce, but when we talk about XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, QNT, not only are they scarce, but they are providing something of value as well. They're going to be utilized in the infrastructure, folks. And now this is where the utility is. And time and again, we're seeing good developments. XDC Network's buyout of Contour is a game changer, a global trade platform trusted by, look at the names over here, HSBC, Citi, DBS, and more, powered by none other than XDC, folks. So, folks, XDC, XLM, and XRP, not only are they creating an infrastructure in various sectors, they all also are now trying to create a good DeFi ecosystem. First, for years, we thought XRP, XLM, and XDC cannot have that. But now we're seeing that through various mechanisms, XDC, XLM, and XRP might be having a really good DeFi infrastructure, which is compliant, folks. Which is compliant. So you need to make sure that you are safe and you learn everything before you dive into anything within these assets ecosystem. Anyways, folks, what do you guys think about XRP, XLM, and XDC? Do you think that they are indeed the end game of finance? I would really like your opinions. Do hit the comment box below. Let the community know. Anyways, guys, this was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon if you're interested in utility coins and potential gems. And you can also support the channel by checking out Patreon by following the link in the description box below. Until next time, stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you very much, everyone.